Welcome to Human Design Playtime, the show that discusses the highest potential and the lowest shadows of ourselves and our playmates. We use ourselves as examples and take some bold liberties to discuss public figures, even the celebrities we love to hate. Bring your open mind and a sense of humor. Who knows? We may be talking about you.
Welcome to episode 6 of Human Design Playtime. Today, Janet and I will be talking about Serena Williams with sprinkling in a little bit of her dad, King Richard Williams.
Hey there. I'll do a short bio on Serena. This does not encapsulate all of who she is at all. So all you tennis fans, you can fill in the blanks, write it in the chat. I know this is just a very pared down thing. She is born in September 26, 1981 in Saginaw, Michigan, and moved to Compton, California, where she started playing tennis at a very young age. At 9 years old, she moved to West Palm Beach, Florida, and studied with Machi and became a nationally ranked player. In 1999, she had her first Grand Slam win. She had some challenges in 2011, a blood clot and emergency surgery for her lung. In 2017, she was pregnant, had a pulmonary embolism after delivery, had a recovery, and eventually in 2019, she returned to the top 10. She's had 4 Olympic gold medals, multiple Grand Slam titles. She's an amazing athlete, an incredible person. And she was recently a dancer for Kendrick. Woohoo!
Go girl.
I am not a tennis person, but I am a Serena fan.
Yes.
And we're going to look at the possibilities of what her chart could be. Of course, Serena, none of her family members are our clients. We're getting this information about her birth data off the internet, and Tammy has done exhaustive research to try and figure out what is the best possible, most likely accurate birth chart. We don't know. We are going with this one, whether they are hers perfectly or not.
Serena, it was a little like I did find her time on the internet. It did say that it came from her birth certificate. Her dad's I did not find on the internet. So possibly this is correct, but again, she's not our client, so we only can talk accurately. Here, we're just going to talk about the functions, the energy, and put her face with it if this is her chart. So she is an advisor or a projector in the human design lingo. She has a lot of openness, a lot of taking in a lot of energy from other people, for sure.
And advisors are the type of people who, there are some advisors who have a lot of definition, a lot of defined, but a lot of advisors, have a lot of openness. I personally have a lot of openness as an initiator or manifester. And the openness allows us to experience someone else's energy in that center. So we can feel it, experience it, possibly amplify it. And if we're out of whack, we might distort the energy.
Yeah.
We might misunderstand things. So whenever you see a lot of white in someone's chart, a lot of undefined centers, there's a lot of room for growth. That is a friendly way of saying, we can misinterpret things until we get a grasp on what is someone else's energy, what is ours, and how to determine what is healthy. And that takes time.
Mm-hmm.
So she has a lot of room for growth. And as an advisor, her energy is designed to experience another person's energy one-on-one. And when invited, she could guide a whole group, guide a league. Tammy, is there anything else you see in her chart?
No, I just wanted to add on to that it's really important wherever you have openness in your design that you learn to be a screen of other people's energy and not a sponge where you're like taking on somebody else's energy and feelings and maybe making them wrong for how they are feeling. It's really important, I think, and we talked about this a little bit last time, that as humans that we learn to be alone a little bit so that we can understand our own energy when we're alone. So then when we are with other people, we understand ourselves and we know that it's maybe not us that's feeling the things that our body may be taking in those moments.
That is really good point. That's good advice.
So the first thing that I notice about her chart is she has a consistent way of using her voice and a consistent way of making decisions. She's got that defined conceptualization, which is the little green triangle at the top, well, second to the top, and then the square just below it. That is our communication and action. The strength that she has is about like the storyteller and curiosity coming together. And it is very much a experiential. It's like a past, like understanding when the cycle is over, a different perspective. So entering things for the experience is really important whenever you have a lot of abstract sharing circuitry.
Right. Right. And she does not have any motors in this chart. If she was born at a different time, she might have some motors in her chart that are defined. But if we're taking this as the snapshot, then she doesn't have any motors defined, which means that she could overdo it.
Mm. Which
And as a non-sacral type myself, I can overdo it. In human design, they say being overzealous,
mm,
especially around generators or builders.
yeah,
Builders like Tammy provide like so much boundless energy, it seems. And projectors and advisors like Serena, or manifestors, initiators like myself, who have limited access to motors. We're just fascinated by all this energy and how to use it. And may I borrow some, please? Can I have a cup of sugar, please?
I was just
There's swapping going on.
mm, I was just thinking that, you mentioned that she had a couple pretty major like health challenges, which I think that with that overzealous or, picking up people's stress or their emotions or their fears, feeling like at times that you're not enough, like all of this can come into play where you feel like, you could be having some disease from maybe not even surrounding yourself with the right people. So somebody with Serena's type of design, it's very important that they surround themselves with the right people, or they could, really have some health challenges from that.
Yes, that's a good point, Tammy. Yeah. And getting rest and
Mm,
not overdoing it.
yeah.
It's so tempting as a non-sacral type to overdo it just to keep up. And, there are some stories of her coach pulling her out, like, let's not ruin you before you've even hit puberty. Let's give you a chance to be a person, to learn, to go to school. Don't burn out just because you're one of the best. Let's not burn you out so quickly.
Yeah, and her profile is a 6'2", so she is a leader pioneer. Oh, I'm sorry, she's a 6'3",
Natural.
leader pioneer. I was like, wait a second, that's not right. So I was just looking at her traits. She has 9 third line traits. So a big part of what she is here to do is learn through trial and error and understand that she has the ability to persist and to have success. Wow, a 6'3" mental projector, mental advisor. Well, I bet those first 30 years had a lot of challenges in them, like double whammy challenge.
Yeah, probably, probably. And I had a mental projector client a couple days ago,
Mm,
and I've been working with her for a little while. And there's the sounding board. Like if this is Serena's chart, the way she would make decisions would be to talk to her trusted advisors and not be told what to do, but hear herself while she's talking to her advisors. And they could have some back and forth. It's
It,
hearing the frequency and hearing her ideas out loud near someone else. Um, yeah. So she could ultimately advise herself, but it's so important for some types to talk about it and have like a small circle of people.
and some of the things that I'm finding is if you have a defined throat, you probably, even though you don't necessarily need a sounding board, you may still need a sounding board. You may need to like learn to listen to what you're saying because you are your own expert. I'm my own expert. Janet's her own expert. Each of us is our own expert. And the challenge is sometimes we go to people to talk through things and they want to tell us what to do. And that is not what would be good for Serena. She needs somebody that is willing to ask her really great questions and let her talk through those questions and hear what she's saying and know that the first thing that she says may not be her final answer, but it's her like starting to say it to hear what she's saying that she can make her most aligned decisions.
Yes, yes. And someone she can trust where she doesn't have to edit it or worry about their feelings or what they're about to tell her. Because with that defined throat, we need to express it. I
Mhm.
need to express my identity. She needs to express what she's thinking about.
Yes.
And it's not being squashed in the middle of the perhaps monologue that needs to ensue. And that's
Yeah.
why it's good to have several people.
It is. And to know what people you can really trust to let you work through your own experiences and those that you go to that are they're going to tell you or drive you one way or the other. It's important that you ask people that are willing to just what's best for you is what they want and so they can ask you really great questions and that's really helpful.
Yeah.
Should we look at
Mm.
her dad or do you have see
We're in
anything
the same
else?
space. You took the words right out. I was like, can we see? Can we see the other chart?
I thought that us taking a look at her dad could be really helpful. Now, again, this isn't necessarily his correct time, but we looked at it at all the options for the day. He was what's called a quadruple split, which means that you can see kind of in his chart here, he has four different connections, like where his drive and stamina at the bottom is connected to his emotions. So he's really driven by his emotions. He has his generative energy that is connected to his identity and direction. He has his defined willpower, which is connected to communication and action. And then he has his conceptualization that is connected there at the top to the inspiration center. A lot of definition, a lot of consistency in who he is, but he's here to synthesize information. So he has to talk to a lot of different groups of people in order to really be comfortable in his decisions. Now, if this is both of their charts, Serena does what's called bridge him. So together they become an independent assimilation to where he'll process much quicker with her around.
Yes. And she completes something in him where they have the salesmanship channel together, the salesman, the front man for selling the team. It's a tribal channel of, hey, we're going to do this for the good of the team. There may be some exaggeration involved, but we need to get this done because it's going to benefit everybody.
Mhm.
And we need sales in order to get the product out there. And isn't that what he did? Isn't that what he did? And I'm thinking about like how fixed he is. Of course, I don't know either of them personally. I've only seen, documentaries and movies and read articles. But he was driven. He wanted this and he wanted it this way. He wanted this and he wanted it this way, not that way, this way. And
Mm.
to sway him, so we call somebody like this with so much definition fixed in a way. Like there's not as much room for nudging. That's a New York word. Okay, what's a better word? Influencing,
Influence.
changing their mind or getting them. So, there might be some battles that ensued to get him to change directions when he was set on one way. Yeah. So in a
Yeah.
chart like that with so much definition, it's great because they have reliable strengths in this way. But I could see how, there could be some conflict.
Yeah. The other thing that I noticed is that he has that 214, which is about direction and vision. And so he had a vision early on for, his daughters to become professional tennis players. And in a time that, it wasn't, that wasn't an easy feat for him, but he was completely, and I would say, if this is his chart with the undefined survival instincts, is you can be either very fearful or completely fearless. I would say he was pretty fearless,
Yeah,
going
going
after
for
and going for that, and making sure that he was keeping them safe. And a lot of like the 4629 is a lot about the love of the body and determination, persistence. And so he has had a lot of persistence in taking his vision and making it happen.
That's a good point.
The 2145, the tribal leader, management, and this strength can be misunderstood, I think, at times, because the person is really, the 21 is about control and the 45 is about educating the community, gathering people and educating them. And some people, can misunderstand this strength in others. I've noticed. I have the 45, Janet has the 21, so together we have the strength. But with the people that I know of that I've noticed that have that, a lot of times people around them do misunderstand them.
They are the sovereign leader. They are the head of the tribe. We are doing it this way, is kind of how I interpret it. We're doing it this way, and it's materialism. This is how we are going to secure our material success. And it is not in a bad, I mean, you can make fun of it, but we all need material success. We all live on this planet. So that is materialism right there, and materialism for the tribe, not for the greater good of humanity. It is for my people and my tribe, and I will secure it. That's that channel, and it is kind of like my way or the highway channel.
Mm-hmm. And I would
That's how
say
I see it.
that the tribes are, it can be your family, but it could be the family you chose, it can
Right.
be your community. Like tribes are different. They're not just the standard, your own little circle. It can be much broader, but it's going to depend on the person.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is that he is an emotional being. He has that emotional wave that is that experiential, the one that he has to do things for the experience without any expectations. And it kind of like ratchets up, builds up, and then gets up here really high up, and then something doesn't meet their expectations and they drop way down, and it takes more time for them to build back up. That's what that wave is, and that strength is about the dreamer. Like the vision and the dream and wanting the dreams to come true. So I think it's really beautiful the influence that he had um, early on in her success and the vision that he had for his family. I love that as a parent.
Glad you brought that up. Yeah, an emotional being, and if Serena is not an emotional being and he is, he sets the pace. It's
Mm,
like, the willpower and the emotional system are the top dogs on that tier of who walks in the room, who's setting the emotional pace, the willpower, the passion, like, wow, it's a big energy to feel when, and it's wonderful ride when it's a happy feeling, and it is rough when the emotional being is in turmoil, because everyone can feel it, and someone with an open system can feel it big. And you have personal experience, I have personal experience with that, and learning to know that that's dad, that's not me, or that's my boss, that's not me, that's my best friend, and I'm letting them be them. But like you said in the beginning, Tammy, I don't have to be a sponge and absorb it all and eat it all up. But if we think about how advisors are designed, if it's one-on-one, they are actually experiencing and drinking somebody else's energy if they're one-on-one and pointed in that direction. But that's part of life. It is just part of life. We can't get out. I mean, I can't live alone in the woods all by myself, raise myself from an infant to death. I think it would be a very quick life for me. So I'm not complaining about it, but it is just something to notice.
you're
We all
not
go through it.
Tarzan.
Yeah,
You're not
not Tarzan.
Tarzan.
I wanted to be when I was a kid. I thought that sounds so great. Nobody tell me what to do. I can
Yes.
just go from tree to tree. I love climbing trees.
Yes. Yes. Oh, well, I love this. I think that definitely, I watched the show that has Will Smith in it, King Richard, which
Oh
is,
yeah.
based on their story. And, it was pretty powerful just to see how persistent he was. And my daughter has these two strengths here. And let me tell you, she's known her direction since she was little. She's very persistent and determined to get there. Uh, and there's really no changing her mind, her thoughts, her direction. She knows the way. And I feel like you see that whenever you watch the show that's based on their life, is like he really had that vision and to move them forward.
I'm so glad you decided to add him to the mix today, because I think it's really fun to see in relationship.
Oh my
And
gosh.
although we don't know these people, we have known of them for
Mhm.
30 years.
Yes.
Yeah. And we haven't done a projector or an advisor before on the show. So we'll be doing varying charts. We did several generators for the first several podcasts. We're going to have some more advisors. We'll have initiators. We'll have observers, reflectors. We're going to get everybody so that hopefully our audience can identify with the different types.
Yeah.
Well, it was so wonderful to be with you today, Tammy, and thank you for putting the charts together. Everybody, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to us, ask us in the comments, reach out to us separately or together. We're available for uh, group sessions and separate sessions. Stay tuned. Next time, we'll probably have another projector, maybe a manifester. We don't know. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.